All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do a quick recap, right? So I think the keywords that I need you to remember as per yesterday is strategy and control, right? So as a CEO, you must know what is strategy and control. You use your numbers, right? So today we're going to talk about few areas. Budget, definitely you have to talk about KPI, and I think the most important one is what you know, decision making. How to make decision, right? Okay. So I think, and for me, decision making is super important because you are CEO, right? That's why you call it business finance mastery. Master means what? You no need to be inside. You are on top, right? So as a CEO, my requirement to you is, or my expectation to you is, you don't need know how to run the budget like the accountant, but you need to know the numbers, understand the numbers, okay? And that's very important, okay? And most importantly, you must think strategically, right? Now, before I start, maybe I can share you some story. You want to listen to the story or not?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, I'm privileged enough to serve one of my clients. I call him Mr. Tan, okay? So, Mr. Tan used to be the CEO of Pakistan, China. Pakistan, China. So, I think back then they should have maybe 40 over outlets across China. So he was sent by Tan Sri William Cheng to China in the earliest day. So he's really started from an officer. And then his last position landed as a CEO before he retired. Then, of course, he retired, come back Malaysia, do what? Nothing, right? Just start a small business. Okay? So I like to buy him lunch. You know why? Listen to his story. So there's one day I asked him a question, say, hey, Mr. Tan, you as a CEO have to oversee so many companies. We ourselves 24 hours also seems like not enough, you know. How you did that, right? What is the magic so-called method or methodology? Then you share with me lah. You want to know or not?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Oh, actually, one of the key areas is looking at the accounts. So one of his routine is really lock himself inside the room, go through all the financial report by different outlets. That is the time that he really focused reading the numbers. So back to you, CEO. Have you spent one day, just 1 month, 1 day, lock yourself inside the room, go through your numbers?
No.
Yes, Evan.
When you go to the numbers, you go to for the month or
Yes,
particular month?
the particular months basically, and of course year to date numbers as well, and quarter to quarter number as well, right? That's why when you read the numbers, there's one thing that you must always remember, or asking yourself, is your sales or your performance seasonal or not? Is there any seasonal factor, right? Or cyclical, right? And this is very important, okay? So if there's a trend, and this is how you see whether it aligns or not, right? So one thing you will go and do is always benchmark and look through all the report. Why the branch in Shanghai do better than the Guangzhou one? Okay, and benchmark amongst the outlets. Okay, and this is how he managed the operation in China, right? So if a CEO managing so many outlets can do it, I believe we all can do it as well. So the key is numbers. Yeah, and it's very important. And of course, there's one more. I'm privileged enough also, you know, I was in this precast company, right, as a CFO. So one of my job is to negotiate with supplier. Why every day I also chase you for payment Some of them very charm one, you know. Logistic company boss, bayar lah, tak ada duit sudah, tak boleh makan sudah. Wow, so pity But how I also need to take care of the company, you know. I only have this much of money. How to allocate the resources is very important, right? So one of the big supplier in Ipoh, okay. The CEO used to be the president of Hardware also Okay, I like to talk to him also. So we negotiate I have to go and find him Okay, he got a very small eye, like that, but very sharp. You know, very sharp in the sense that he really know his number. You know why I say so? This one day I look for him. You know, he just somehow in front of the counter, and I say, Jeremy, sit down. Okay. I call Mr. Sun, I think, yeah. So I tell you what, I can tell you, I'm hardware shop, right? But I can tell you, even I'm a boss, I know all the product of my company You want to test me or not? He passed me a product catalog about nuts or bowl, I don't know lah. Okay, I've half out for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can tell the name and the item code. Oh, wow, shit, man. I was amazed, you know. He really know his product well. And then I walk inside the room, start negotiating. I can extend a bit of not the credit terms. Of course, I do my homework. Better don't do. After I do, I get shocked also. Because all suppliers say they are poor one, right? Where got people say they are rich when they are chased for money. So I go and buy the financial report. Walao, 100 million revenue, you know. Best part of hardware can have 10% net profit, you know. That's damn good, you know. Wow, this fellow say no money. I also pretend, okay. So then we talk. What? You know what? I noticed one thing. He has all the journal recording all the bank facility one, you know. Wow, he can really take one out. I tell you, wow, this one HSBC going to expire soon, this and that. He really know his number, okay? And of course, hardware shop, you need a lot of facility because it's huge volume, right? He's so smart. You know who he hired as a GM? He hired one of the top HSBC Northern Region GM who retired as his GM. Means what? You have banking relationship. Is it easier to get bank facility? Smart, right? So he is a real businessman because he knows how to leverage. Okay. So, good morning. So these are the two stories I want to tell you. Right? Ex-former CEO of Parkson can manage so many branches or outlets because looking at the numbers. And even a supplier in Ipoh can run big business because he knows his number as well. So far, I haven't seen a successful one that not looking at the numbers, right? So that is one of the key. You want to be a successful entrepreneur, you must know your numbers. Your CFO or your accountant just there to help you, right? Okay? And again, you can see all these things here. I just want to briefly cover this before we start because, as I said, decision making is very important, right? But how to make a good decisions? Samantha?
Compare all the possible outcome and see what is the thing that you want to achieve up.
Okay.
That's the good decision in terms of what's the stage of the business and what you need at that point.
Right. Okay, good. It's basically like compare all the data, basically, right? Okay, and strategy perspective. Am I right? Okay. So to make a good decision, you need numbers, right? But having numbers is not good enough. You need strategy. And to think strategically, you need a framework. I think this is what lacking a lot of time. You don't have a framework to think, right? And for me, there's a lot of framework in the market, but I don't want to overcomplicate the things for you. And for me, this is cukup makan one. Okay? Meaning to say, the framework is a dead thing, you know, it's there, you know. So, but how you apply is very important. This one I also got a story to share with you. I'm an SCCA graduate, right? So one of the paper is called Business Strategy. And this is the only paper, when I attend the classes, I never fall asleep one. The rest are really, accounting standard, I fall asleep. Empress accounting standard, it's so boring, you know. This is the only paper I won't fall asleep one, you know. But this 1 year, I'm too ambitious, you know. I took 4 papers, you know. I passed 1, 3 fail. B3 is one of it, business strategy. And then I always, when I fail, I think I'm not worried about failing. Just like I share with you guys, right? It's okay to have problem, you know. The biggest scary part is you don't know what's the problem, right? So I said, wow, why I fail? There's one thing I noticed. One, I never complete the questions. Of course, still fail, right? Secondly, I noticed when it comes to apply the strategy or methodology that I learned, I try to like half out and then just plug in. I say feel like how to fix it. I don't care, just simply write, right? Then I noticed that I cannot do that because strategy is very versatile. It's like water, right? Agile. So the next one, okay, I learned my mistake. I think I got a score of 43 or 47. Okay, passing my 50 . On next one, I said, okay, it's okay. I want to free flow. I simply write. I think it should be like that. You know what result I get? Guess. No lah. 100 World Prize winner already. What do you think, Simon? How much I get? 80 ah. 80 in ACC really you can be World Prize winner lah. I got 73 lah, not bad lah. Hey, but 47 to 73 is a big jump, you know, right? And this is what I learned. In strategy, you must be what? Practical, right? You don't fix yourself, right? So as a CEO, remember, for you to make decision, you need strategy and numbers, right? And this is very important, okay? Now, before I start, there are some guiding principles that I need to share when it comes to decision making, right? Number one, you must always clear with your company goal and objective, what you want to achieve, right? So if this year you want to make 10 millions, that is your goal. As I shared yesterday, right, goal is a goal, right? How to achieve it is not important. It's not saying it's not important, but it's a separate question. You should not mix around. Okay? Clear? And this is very important. Goal is just a goal, right? Secondly, be practical. Let me be frank with you. As a business owner, you need to be practical, right? What means practical? Sometimes you go A, sometimes you go B lah. Sometimes you have to go C. And of course, your staff will always say, why this boss roti canai one always change one okay? But this is where you tell them, as a businessman, we must be practical, okay? Not that we like to change, right? So I think there's one great story about Singapore. I'm not sure you will or not. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, okay, back then the considered Prime Minister, right, of Singapore, is actually very against on gambling, you know. He never want to have a so-called casino in Singapore. Until he retired, the son took over, and as the son proposed, we need to have a casino in Singapore. Why? Time has changed. We need more income. We need tourism. And Mr. Lee Kuan Yew is a very practical person. Practical means what? Not stubborn lah. Some people satu jalan only one. A mean A, B mean B lah, you know. Okay? Okay? If you keep on changing also doesn't mean you don't have principle, you know. I call these people call what? Practical person. Some people like to change, right? But if they change because to adapt the environment, adapt what needs to be done, I call this person a practical person. It's not a no principle person, right? Yeah. So then he agreed with the son, and that's why we have a casino in Singapore now, right? So that's why when it comes to decision making, right, you must be practical, okay? What's work and what doesn't work. Yesterday we talked about control, right? In life itself, there are things that you can control, things that you cannot control. So the thing that you cannot control, don't worry too much lah. Seriously. So yesterday, after the training, I go and met one of my clients. He runs a restaurant. I have to meet him because what? Cash flow is depleting. Okay? So one of the reasons is overstuffing. Why overstuffing? Because he started another restaurant at Petaling Street. But the restaurant cannot open because of some renovation, this and that. Not related to him, but other people, right? Then I say, Mr. Kayan, I think your margin gone lah, basically. Your cash burn rate, maybe next 10 months you will do nothing, right? I say, you have to quickly open up the shop in November, okay? But I say, then he told me lah, okay, I can open up, but what if the business is very bad lah? But then I tell him lah, you already hired people, right? You already paying for the cost. The business whether doing well, can you control? You don't really can control, you know. But I can tell you the cost is really there, right? So I said, why you want to worry something that you cannot control? Because whether you open or not open, you have to pay the cost. Am I right? So might as well try it out. Yeah, you cannot control. So I said, at least you try it out. If it doesn't work in next 2 months, then I say the next approach you have to do is cut people. That's it, right? So that's why what I'm going to emphasize here is always remember what you can control and what you cannot control. For things that you cannot control, how you overcome your stress? How? No lah. Use a worst case scenario lah. Am I going to die or not? Am I going to bankrupt or not? Right? It's not going to happen, right? And the worst case scenario is a risk that you can tolerate. Just do it lah. Okay? Just do it. So this is how I started my business. I do my calculation. I can last for 6 months only. Then I ask myself, what is the worst case? Look for a job. Lor. I think I still have my accountant qualifications, right? Okay, do it. Hey, morning. There are two more things that is important when it comes to decision making. What is your risk tolerance level? Okay, can you take more risk or not? And last but not least is your strategy level. Okay, are you clear? This is very important one. Golden rules, I can tell you, because this is the essence what I gather for over the years, right? Now, if you are clear with this, then I want to bring you to another graph. You might want to take a photo. Okay? There is a life cycle for everything. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right? Even we are going to get old and die. Right? So to your business. So to your product. So to your organizations. Right? Now, in Japan, there are a lot of organizations that last more than 200-300 years. Am I right? Yes or no? Because the organization is a company. Company won't die. Provided they keep on innovate, right? So I think as a company, there's two things that you can never lose one, What is it? You want to guess? As a company, to continue to survive, there are two things that you can never lose. Money is a result. So money is a result. After we die, where is the passion come? The passion with the people, right? As a company. Yes. But to be more precise, sales means what? Customer acquisitions. As a company, you must have that ability to keep on acquiring new clients. Do you agree?
Yes. Yes.
If you have that skill set or ability, you never worry about no business. Right? Customer acquisition is the key. And second, for me, business is a survival and a winning game. First, you try to survive. Second, you have to win. If you don't win the game, you'll be phased out, right? So that's why the second one is what? Innovations. Okay? It's innovations. You must be creative. You must be able to adapt to the environments, the changes of the pastel, right? Yesterday you learned about pastel. Pastel, you apply pastel, whatever you do, right? Now, this is about life cycles. Okay? Assume your company or your product. Or product can be your product in this case. Now, it always starts with innovations. Right? Innovations. Innovator. You create something new. Right? The best example is what? Apple. Is Apple the first one to have the touchscreen phone? No. Who? Means they're not doing enough marketing. But it's okay. But those who invented the touchscreen one is called innovator. Am I right? Yes, An innovator, then you have what? Early adopter. Who is a risk taker? They just want to try out new and cool things. When Tesla just launched their EV car, also the same, right? The people just want to try out new technology things. Am I right? They know the product might not be perfect. Yes or no? There are a lot of people surrounding you also, right? Just right to try new thing. But maybe not you. Eunice, are you a risk taker?
What is that?
What thing that make you think, this is a good thing, For Eunice, depends on what thing. Now, what thing that you make you feel like try it out in an early stage?
You mean in products?
Yes.
Perspective?
Yeah.
Maybe something I will use it day one day.
For example?
Phone definitely I won't because I'm not a gadget person.
Okay.
Maybe because I love cooking. So if there is something new that
New sauce.
Yeah, I mean the new taste or new sauce or very weird kind of things like that, I would like to try it out.
Like kind of coffee, asam laksa.
Something about the food that
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right? If you tell coffee, asam laksa is damn good. You feel curious, right?
because you see that there's a nasi lemak, teh tarik, nasi lemak,
Yeah, correct.
ice cream thing like that.
Right, the tea life also got the what? Maggi, like boba, kind of. Yeah. For me, it's so weird. I won't try it out. But maybe for you, yes, right? How about you, Edmund? What are the things that you feel like you will try it out, even though you know it's not perfect?
For finding
Yeah, anything like product lah.
Maybe IT related stuff.
IT related stuff lah. Can be phone, can be laptop, anything.
I see. Maybe software.
Software lah, okay? Yeah, software is a good one, right? Okay, so in your product life cycle, when you come out something, it's called disruptive innovations. There's no such thing in the market, or it's very rare. It's a disruptor, right? And then you will have the early adopter, innovator clients, right? Now, statistically wise, you think how many percent of this first part of the people in terms of market? 10, eh? So it's around 15%. Okay? So if you, let's say, you talk about the company life cycle, right? You are in the incubation stage lah, or proof of concept. See whether there are people that willing to buy in or not, right? Now, after that, if you survive lah, if you survive, okay, then you move on to what? Main majority, mean the early adopter. Okay, sorry, not the early adopter, the majority adopter, but consider the main one, right? So here, maybe around 35%. Okay, and then after that, you will have another piece of main majority adopter, is more matured one, 35%. How many percent we have now? 70 plus 15 is 85%. And now you have your late adopter and laggard. A very slow one, okay? Or these are people that are very price sensitive one, okay? So another 15%. Why this life cycle matters? Because you first have to identify where are you now, because you have to adopt a different strategy in terms of your costing, in terms of how you want to serve your clients, because all this related to dollar and cent. Okay, right? So that's why here you actually basically is a disruptor innovations, application innovations, and product innovation. Right? You really have a lot of good product, right? Like Eddie, I think you have test out different kind of flavor of cake, right? So when you started with what kind of cake? Like the time why you want to start this? Like no one in the market.
Sure, no one do.
No one do, right?
Cooking a lot of people use alcohol, but cake no one use alcohol.
Okay, so when Eddie come out this cake, is what? Innovator. Right? Early adopter. And who is your first batch of clients?
The people very dare to try things on.
They to try things out, right? Okay. But after that, Eddie managed to prove concept. Okay. And then after that, you have your majority. But when it comes to majority, means what? A lot of volume coming in already. A lot of volume coming in. You're not talking about 10 orders per day. Maybe it's 100 orders per day. Then for you to run your company, you need processes innovations. Streamline processes, automation like what we spoke about yesterday. Right? And then you need experimental innovations. How you want to serve the clients. It's very important. Right? So then you only move on to main majority matured market, where you really have to keep on spending money because you want to capture as much as possible the market. Right? Lastly, business model and structural for the late adopter. Why? Because these are the people that might be very conservative or very price sensitive. So you want to penetrate the rest, you have to go cheap already, so to say. You remember pen drive? In our day, is like, wow, pen drive. Right? How many gig or megabyte? 128. 128. Right? It's so expensive, you know. But it's a new thing that disrupts the market, yes or no? Right? And then after that, the storage starts getting bigger. Now I think they got 1 terabyte also got pen, like that, right? But cheap or expensive? Cheap. Right? Very cheap. This bloody TV when I bought many years ago cost me 20K, you know. Yes. Those days, this kind of big TV, you know, so thin, very expensive, I don't know. But now, 20K, I think you can buy a bloody good one, right? So is it a product life cycle? Is it product life cycle? Right?
So this is a product life cycle.
Correct.
It's not company life cycle.
Can be company life cycle also. Okay. But your company rely on your product and services, right? So your product life cycle also somehow define your company life cycle. So at some point, if you cannot innovate or have new product come out, thank you very much. Tong 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 tong, not tong 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 là that's wedding. Thì nó tắt cổng chăng này đi vào thôi. Lên mình biết là tắt cổng chăng nào, right? You go on, man. Am I right? So, question to you all. Where are you? What do you think?
We know.
Everyone can share? What do you think? Where are you now? It's okay if you don't have a right answer, but just asking you this question. Because after you answer me this question, I will lead you to another matrix. Why these are important for me? Because as I said, you are CEO. Got number, no strategy, useless, I would say. Got strategy, don't know number also, pointless. Okay, right? So are you ready? Or you want 1 minute to think about? Okay, I give you 1 minute. I will play some music, meditate.